the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we are here with OP Racing Grand National Series as we bring you the digital Armchair Motorsports 175, presented by Stanley Jr. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. My name is KR Stolfus, and I will be your host for this one. And in the booth with me, despite the fact that I am wearing nothing but a bathrobe, that is none other than Zach Workman. Zach, how you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. I wish I was that bathrobe.
Well, you can dress however you want on the internet, as long as no one can see your camera.
Oh, I'll be right back then. I gotta turn this off.
Qualifying is underway for the damn 175, and Zach, as our driver in the booth here this week, tell me a little bit about what it takes to get around this Daytona track, or the Legacy Daytona track here in qualifying.
Well, to be honest, KR, I kind of suck qualifying here, so I don't really have a clue. I can tell you general stuff, like kind of missing the bumps. You want to go towards the middle lane when you're in the turns. Just try to avoid any things that will cause you to lose speed. If you hit it right on the yellow, like we'll usually see in qualifying, you'll have a slow time. So you kind of want to stay in the middle or a lane up in the turns, and hopefully you get some good wind, because the wind kind of changes a lot here, and sometimes you'll have a really fast lap and you'll get a headwind coming at you, and you have a slow lap. So it just depends how the wind's going and how your line is, and I know you don't want to be on the yellow line here.
All right, so trying to avoid the yellow line, that's news to me. I haven't heard that one. Typically, you, as far as I remember, you always wanted to be as close to that line as you could.
Just not here. Talladega and regular Daytona and ISS, we do try to hit that yellow line, but here you just lose so much speed if you're right on the bottom running a normal line. So we just usually run a lane or lane and a half up, and you get some speed there.
Gotcha. Well, qualifying is ticking off the time very quickly. Richard Sanchez just takes pole position at a 50.76. Vicente Guerrero in the 14, making his way around this super speedway. And anybody standing out to you here in qualifying just yet?
Not yet. It's usual players kind of up in front. I'm interested to see where this 33 qualifies. These usually have a pretty fast lap here. The 88 is usually up front as well. So we'll see where those two cats play out. And Mark Mann, can't forget about him. He's always fast, so you know, Mark Mann. Batman.
Never heard of her. Oh, look, time for the national anthem. We'll be back with tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as our drivers are taking to the grid on pit road here for the Digital Armchair Motorsports 175 presented by Stanley Jr. Thank you very much for joining us here. Qualifying is done and over with, so I'm sure you all want to know who is starting where, so let's get right into it. On pole position with a time of 50.766, Richard Sanchez in the 510. To his outside, that is the 44 of Anthony English. Row number 2, the 27 of Sean Stevens, the 77 of David Booth. Row 3, Josh Milam in the 7, Daniel Holloway in the 21. Row number 4 going to be Peter DeBorgia in the 40 and the 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr. Row 5, Eric Laurie in that 071 and the 88 of Gabe Butler. Row number 6 going to be the 47 of Richard Kuhn and the 12 of Zach Fritsch, starting in 12th place. Row number 7, Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels. Row number 8, Duke Conrad and Jeff Crosby Sr. Row number 9, David Livingston and Sean McCara. Row 10 will see the 9 of Nate Warren and the 214 of Harold Rothery. Row number 11, Rob Connors in the 00, and the last driver to take a qualifying time, that is the 62 of Les Levy. Stanley Jr. and David Overstreet make up row number 12. Row 13 will be the 04 of Mark Mann and the 8 of Michael Pratt. Row 14, Andy Brigante and Jimmy Reynolds. Row 15, Dan Harrington and Lynn McNeese. Then Adam Kilday bringing up the tail end of this field for starting here tonight. So Zach, drivers making their way out. Butterflies a bit of a thing here at Legacy Daytona, or has it rattled them all away?
Butterflies here. We do run this track 100 times a year, it seems like, and it's just, this track is a little different than we usually do. A lot more bumpy. Gotta really handle the track. Tires mean a lot here, so you just gotta. Oh, I'm getting someone talking to me. Whatever. You just have to watch your tires and stuff like that, and kind of. I'm losing train of thought here.
All right. Well, I'll take over from there. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at our race info as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. You've got to have your eyes and your elbows up here tonight. Last week, David Overstreet won, but he is ineligible, will not make the minimum race requirements. So that means someone is getting in on points for sure. Top 16 drivers will make it into the playoffs coming up in 5 races. We'll have one stage at halfway. One fast repair is available. Green flag is out, and away we go, Zach.
Going into turn 1, Richard Sanchez taking the early lead, getting the help by Sean Stevens. We got Anthony English and David Booth on the outside, with Josh Milam 5th on the bottom, 3rd car, with Peter and Eric Laurie kind of running all together tonight. A big team, so see them working together.
Down the back stretch for the first time, our front row still side by side. The 44 of Anthony English had his nose ahead just a little bit, but now that 510 surging ahead down on that yellow line. So if you want to stay away from the yellow line in qualifying, Zach, how come you want to hug it during the race?
Well, because we all got to pit at a certain time. We run half fuel here, so we have to run about 18 laps here until we pit. So you'll see a lot of guys try to jump to that bottom because we all do have to pit. We got to pit from the bottom lane. But if you're just riding, or if you want to race for the race win, you got to get in that high side. That's where the speed is. That's where you want to go. And you'll see a lot of drivers trying to get to that high side.
Well, as they make their way around once again, they are all staying pretty tight right now. A few cars have fallen towards the back. They are not necessarily outside of the draft.
Yeah, you'll see a couple guys just ride here. We got 35 laps into a stage. It's not like how we do our Mondays where we got 2 stages. We only have 1 stage here, and it's at 35 halfway. So it's a lot more calm knowing these guys have 18 laps to do a pit stop, as we see Gabe Butler dive to the back as he usually does.
So Gabe Butler down on the inside apron as we ride on board with Lynn McNeese. Right now, Jimmy Reynolds has the fastest lap of the race, but I think we'll see another fast lap here this time around. It does take a few laps for everyone to get up to that full speed and lay down that good lap.
Yeah, you gotta get the cars up to speed, especially here. It takes a little bit, a couple laps to get on the full speed. And also, depends which lane you are in, because if you're in the bottom, you'll probably be not doing the fastest laps. So I would assume someone is either going to do on the high side or kind of zoom up from the back to get a fast lap. As you just see the power of that high side, David Booth and Anthony English were both clear there. Anthony jumped back high, so he wants to really control this top lane until it's absolutely necessary time to pit, and then he'll jump down. And because if you jump to that bottom too early, KR, you're going to go straight to the back, and you don't want to lose too many positions trying to get the pit road, because the pit road is narrower here. We got a inside cone that you have to make sure you're in, instead of like Talladega or Daytona, where we have no inside wall cone that we have to miss. So it's more narrower. If you're stuck on that bottom, you'll start dropping back as the top side drops to the bottom and start losing a lot of position. So it's going to be harder for some guys in the mid-pack to kind of make positions up on pit road.
How hard is it to hit pit lane here at this track?
Oh, it's way more difficult. On Monday, I missed it totally. And I got a lot of practice doing pit road. If you overcook it even a little bit, there's no chance of saving it. You're either in the inside wall or you're going to miss the cone and you're going to get a pit entry penalty, which is a 40-second hold. So it's just, it's very difficult. It's like you lose about 6 to 8 feet from Talladega to Daytona. That's how much more narrower it is. So it's a lot more difficult, and especially in that bumpy surface. It's hard to slow down these B cars. They're hard to slow down anyhow, and you add the bumps to it, it's even more of a challenge.
That is one thing that the Wednesday night series, the Grand National Series, is doing. It rotates through the B car, the ARCA, and the truck. How does that affect your strategy for the season?
It's a lot. The trucks are way easier to slow down than the B car. The B cars are actually the hardest. And then the ARCA cars, it seems like they get better gas mileage. They're not as heavy. but they're way harder to kind of push and line up. The B car is somewhere in the middle. Not the greatest. The trucks burn the most fuel, but the B car is kind of like the mid car. Doesn't brake supremely well, gets decent mileage. You can make it on one stop here, but the trucks stop way better. The ARCA car gets better gas mileage. It just depends how your feeling is with this car. Like with the B car, we run here, and we also run on Mondays every week, so there's a lot of guys here that are used to the B car. The truck series we have on Saturdays and Wednesdays here, so there's a lot of guys from Saturday that are used to the trucks, so they might be a little bit better in that car. And ARCA is just purely run on Wednesdays when we get to that rotation, so it's probably our most challenging car with these guys because we don't run it as much as we do the other two.
Well, I'll tell you, I do like the ARCA car. It is fun to drive, but it doesn't match up very well for some bump drafting. So coming in to this race, the rough track, and being in the B class car is got to be a little bit better of a feeling.
Yeah, it's way easier to line up, and you can hit someone pretty hard in these cars. Trucks depends on the manufacturer. Like Toyotas and Chevys don't line up all the time, and Fords are even harder to push because they change the bumpers. But here with the B cars, they're all pretty squared off, so any manufacturer will work with each other, and it's not as difficult as the trucks to push. So the B cars are actually the easier car to push, but they get super hot. Like David Booth right now is probably really steaming that car, pushing Anthony here, and you'll probably see him poke out or lay off a little bit when he gets too hot, as he does right there on before turn 1. But the B car gets super hot. The trucks get hot, but they're easier to cool off, and then ARCA cars you can push to like 290 or something. It's just insane how much you can push that car for temperature wise.
Well, as we ride on board with the 77 of David Booth, as he does push that 44 back even with the 510 of Richard Sanchez. But as the temperature ebbs and flows of these cars, how hot can you get it before that engine pops?
It really depends on the air temperature and the humidity. You know, if there's a 10-degree difference, sometimes you can go to 280 and it'll be fine, and then there's some nights you can only go to 270 and it pops. Like last week, my teammate Jeffrey Crosby, he popped at 270 when in practice I was pushing like 282, 283. So it just really depends what temperature the track is and the air temp and humidity. So these cars are really finicky, these B cars, so you just got to really watch it. Around the 270 mark, I wouldn't go too much farther, especially early on here, before even the stage. Just kind of riding now, trying to make it to that first pit stop.
All right, so as our leaders continue to cycle around, stage number 1 is going to end at the completion of lap 35. We're getting close to that first green flag pit stop, so it seems. And, well, one pit stop in this stage, and gotta get it right if you want stage points.
Yep, you gotta make sure you have enough, especially the leaders like Anthony has been leading this whole time, and the 510 of Richard Sanchez, they are burning way more fuel than the guys behind, so they gotta make sure that they get to at least 18 so they can make it to 35, because you do have to make it an extra lap before you can pit. You got to at least make 36, because the pace car doesn't immediately come out and you can pit on 35. You got to make it to at least 36. But granted, you can coast at the end, so I would say at least 18 you'd have to make, and hopefully Anthony and Richard Sanchez can make it to that. As you see, kind of the top line, you see guys trying to move down, and Bowers was in the kind of back in the inside road. It's kind of moving back, so as I said, the track position is kind of key here, especially how hard it is to kind of go 3 wide in this car. As we saw in the ARCA car, you can go 3 wide pretty easily, but this car is way wider, and it's a lot less space up there.
Jimmy Reynolds does have the new fast lap of the race at a 46.984. 46.984. So lap times continuing to drop just a little bit. Not going to have a whole lot of big changes from here on out as far as for the lap time, but it always seems to be after a round of pit stops that everyone gets a little bit faster.
Yeah, I think it ramps up, especially to that stage, because they know they're going to have the yellow, so they're trying to get as much track position as possible. Guys on the bubble that needing points just want to get it up there as much as possible to try to gain those stage points. Like as we see Crosby Sr. here, he's kind of towards the bubble for the playoffs, so he wants to get in many positions as he can and kind of be up there towards the front and try to get a lot of stage points here.
Daniel Holloway and Zach Fritsch running 1 and 2 right now. And we are getting very close to having our first round of green flag pit stops. One car that was a start and park, that is the 62 of Les Levy. He finds himself not at home. So he did what he could to try and get into this race.
See, that's dedication right there. He's trying to make the playoffs. He won a race. He's trying to make as many starts as possible. So you love to see that dedication out here, especially from Les, one of the original members of OP. So good to see him try it out here and try to get enough starts to be in the playoffs. It's how important it is to these guys.
Yeah, Les chiming in on YouTube chat as well, and Alan Fritsch stopping by to say hello. Alan cheering for the 12 of Zach for sure.
I mean, who else would he be cheering for at this point? If it's not the 12, you know.
Well, I mean, according to chat, he's cheering for us because he only said KR and Zach.
Oh, well, thanks, Alan. Appreciate the fandom. We hope Zach Fritsch does well and not get killed like he usually does, it seems like.
He has been on a bit of a rough stretch.
He's been a little bit of a bowling pin, but not to his fault. He's been trying, and right now he's trying to get the lead from Daniel Holloway. So we'll see what he can do. Maybe he can get to that bottom lane and kind of lead the brigade to pit road.
All right, the drivers are going to have to start hitting pit road very soon here. In fact, I expect to see a few come down pit road this time around, as we are getting down to that fuel tank being empty.
Yep, we'll see if we have any takers. If they go on 17, then they can make it easily 19 laps, as Sanchez got the apron a little bit, kind of caused a bit of a stack up here. Doesn't look like anyone's around.
And it looks like Mark Mann has gone around a single car spin. We stay green. Not sure what happened to Mark Mann coming off of turn 4, but maybe a bit of contact and around he went. Adam Kilday is the first one on to pit road though.
Oh, just looks like a checkup went from that Sanchez hitting the apron there. Just unfortunate, he was checking up and got hit from the rear from Vicente. So just kind of sucks for Mark Mann, but thankfully he'll have a stage here, so he can hopefully, if he is a lap down, get his lap back and stuff. But as we see them singling file out, we'll see a lot of guys probably coming down this time.
Oh, and another one in trouble. That is Sanchez in the 510 as he is off into the grass. He is still fighting that and collects Holloway. And he is still pointing in the wrong direction. So tough break for Holloway and Sanchez there.
Yeah, looks like him and Sean Stevens initially made contact on that entry, and Richard was just in that grass. Just unfortunate that Holloway got into that. Nothing he could do, and just a tough scenario.
to Jeff Crosby Sr. and Jeff Crosby Jr. going to peel off for pit road from the race lead. And I do believe this is going to complete our first round of green flag pit stops.
That checkup right before on 17 has caused a huge gaps in the field. Seems almost like a 5-car breakaway. We got 12 with Zach Fritsch, Anthony English, Peter DeBorgia, Sean McCarra, and Josh Milam, kind of just like the lead of their own, way ahead of Harold Rothery and the guys behind him. So we'll see how fast that other pack can catch these guys, but as we have senior and junior jumping off and see if they can connect together and get up to that front 5.
All right, Zach Fritsch in the 12 is your race leader right now. They were single file, but going into turn number 3, they decided to split it up, and we're back to 2 wide racing. The 40 of Peter DeBorgia, who is trying to get his first win, comes into tonight with the most stage wins. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of this information. Our points as they stand hitting tonight's race. Jeff Crosby Jr., 2 wins to his credit. He is the only multiple time winner. I mentioned it earlier. David Overstreet picked up the win last week, but you will not see him in this list because he will not meet the minimum race requirements, and he is well down the points order as well. So his win is not showing up in this championship picture. But Peter DeBorgia, Daniel Holloway, Mark Mann, Vicente Guerrero, some guy named Zach Workman, Travis Elliott, Cody Nagels, and Les Levy all have a win so far this season.
Yeah, as we see kind of this 5-car breakaway here, just kind of controlling it. Peter out here leading for Sean and Josh and Zach. They're all working together, so I think they're saving just Zach a little bit of gas. They really have nothing to worry about as the pack behind is too wide. So they could just run single file here and kind of, when Zach has to make a run because he's worried about the points here, he can make the run to stage win.
Dan Harrington in the 82 is now the first car 1 lap down. Sean Stevens, Richard Sanchez have gone behind the wall, 3 cars out of the race. Dan Harrington, the only car on track that is not on the lead lap.
And that's huge. If we saw in our points graphic earlier, Nate Warren and Dan Harrington are fighting for that last spot in the playoffs. So him going a lap down and Warren close to stage points right here is can kind of change the playoffs right here. Give him a little bit more of a gap than he had.
Yeah, Peter DeBorgia does have the most stage wins of any driver so far this season, 3, and looking like maybe he is going to try and get another. Everyone else only has 1 stage win. He's got 3.
I think he's kind of leaning for his buddy Zach here, to be honest. They're all working together. When it comes down to it, I would not be surprised if the 40, 71, and 7 kind of let the 12 by and get that stage win. Because right now, they could just run single file. Because the pack is way behind. They have nothing to worry about. They can just ride here. And, I think the 12 is in a pretty good spot right here, especially Peter not worrying about points. Sean is not worried about points, and Josh is not worried about points, really. So just worry about that 12 car, and I think they're just trying to make them save a little bit of fuel here, just in case anything happens. And, when push comes to shove, that 12 car is going to go around, and he'll get the stage win.
All right, just over 10 laps to go here in this opening stage. We are getting close to wrapping this one up. We have made our first round of pit stops. Everyone has been on and off pit road, and that one was a clean one as no one got hit with a penalty other than Richard Sanchez, and Sanchez pulled it behind the wall.
Yeah, just him and Sean Stevens look like got together on that entry. As I said before, it gets super narrow, so these guys are probably fighting for the same spots and just got hooked there. I know Sean didn't mean anything by it. Sean's a very clean driver and just got into Richard, so it just sucks for both of them. Hopefully, you know, they can regroup after this stage and kind of go after it.
So as our race leader, the 40 of Peter DeBorgia heads for turn number 3. This pack here, Dan Harrington isn't falling off from them. He's staying pretty tight to them, or closing in, and he's in a good spot to get that lap back as long as he doesn't make any contact with anything.
I don't know where he got it, KR, but if you look in the front nose of that 40 car, he does have a little bit of damage right in the front of the nose, so he might be running a little bit slower than with the fully functional car and stuff. I don't see it being a lot of damage, but it'll definitely hurt you a little bit here. But these cars here can take a lot more damage and kind of be okay, especially with, as we see Peter just kind of dropping to the back, as I think they're ready to get that 12 car shuffled to the front.
On board with Peter DeBorgia as he drops to the tail of this group. So yeah, we might start seeing some gamesmanship here.
Yeah, I think I'm almost positive they would, especially with that backpack not gaining really any time, just kind of managing that 5-second gap. So I would not be surprised if I see Sean and Josh just pull over kind of for Zach. Josh and Zach are teammates on Monday, and John, they're very good friends with Sean. So they're all running together, and they'll help their buddy out. As we see, Mark Mann going to be the next car lap down. It's going to be kind of huge if he can stay onto this pack, because the 82 Harrington is currently a first car lap down, and he's sticking with this 5-car pack.
So the 04 of Mark Mann going to go a lap down, and he is going to try and blend in with this pack, and now he and Dan Harrington will battle to be the first car 1 lap down. And Mark Mann blends in very nicely, so it is a 2-car battle for that spot.
Yeah, we'll see how it unfolds. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Anthony went a little high here, and as we see Mark Mann go around Dan Harrington trying to get to the back of Anthony. They usually work together on these Wednesday nights, so I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony's trying to give Mark a little bit of a draft so he can stay in front of that 82.
John McCarrick continues the lead as we are down to the final few laps here in the opening stage. It has been caution free, and we're entering the realm where the caution will decide the stage. I believe it's 4 or 5 laps from the stage, and that will wrap it up. Zach, how do you interpret the rule?
When there's some contact here, but it's on lap 31. If you get a caution, that'll be the end of stage. So it's after, between less than 5 laps to go. So it's 31 if we get a caution here, that will be the stage. On Mondays, if it's between 21 and 24 or even 25, we'll have the stage, and be 46 through 49 on Mondays for a second stage. So just anything less than 5 laps to go. If we did get the caution on 30 here, then we would have had to go for a green white checkered for stage.
All right, so Sean McCarra continues to lead. Josh Milam, Zach Fritsch, second and third. Peter DeBorgia finds himself in fourth, with Anthony English rounding out your top 5. Stanley Jr. in the 41 has now interrupted everyone's plans to get back on the lead lap, as Stanley Jr. is following in the tire tracks of our race leaders. Should the caution come out, he looks well placed to earn that free pass.
Yeah, right now he's in the catbird seat right now, especially with Mark and Dan back there behind Anthony, a couple seconds behind as they're running 2x2. So Stanley doesn't get any X's here or stop. He should be the lucky dog here, as Zach's trying to pass the 7 and 71 here, trying to get that stage win.
So McCarra, Milam running nose to tail the 12 of Zach Fritsch by himself, trying to make something happen to get a stage win. And right now he is not getting it done, but not giving it up either.
Yeah, he's trying hard. I guess they're kind of battling between the teams, so it's good to see these guys just trying to battle it out and giving their all and stuff like that, and not just like handing it over to the 12. But yeah, it's hopefully maybe the 12 can get a little bit of help from the 41. He doesn't have to be on his bumper, because he doesn't want any like X whatsoever, so he can't make contact. But maybe he can give like a little air push to the 12, as he's trying to side draft these guys and get in front of 71.
Well, the 12 hanging very tough in the outside, but finally falls behind the 7, is going to have to chuck in behind them or continue to side draft like he's been doing.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they're not just giving up to the 12 here, because he's the one most worried about points. I know Sean wants to get a win here, but I guess we'll kind of race it between them.
All right, final lap here in the opening stage. Sean McCarra, Josh Milam, Zach Fritsch, they are going after it for this stage win. Stanley Jr., the first car 1 lap down, he is there hoping to get that free pass, not making any contact with anybody. Here they come off of turn number 4 and coming to the line for stage number 1. It is going to be Sean McCarra picking up the stage win.
As we see the 40 get turned right at the end, I saw it in my other camera there. It's kind of got turned. I think it was by Mark. Just pushing hard for the stage end. 40 and 33 made a little bit of contact and just kind of spun through the grass, but it seems like there's no real big damage.
Take a quick look at what happened to the 40 of Peter DeBorgia. And I don't think it was just a mark-man contact. I think there's a little bit more going on there.
Yeah, I think it looks like maybe Senior came down a tad, and Peter got into the 33 a little bit, and just kind of running hard for stage right there. Just sucks that he got turned around, but thankfully doesn't seem like a whole lot of damage for any of the cars.
Nope, just a nice little spin for the 40, and gets credit for where he crossed the start-finish line, but yeah, has to find his way back forward just a little bit. Liberty Fires chiming in. How you doing, Liberty? Thank you very much for coming by. Dustin Barber here as well. Come on in, guys. Sit on down. Grab a beverage of choice. Stage number 1 is in the books, and that one went caution free, and very quickly Sean McCara finds himself as our stage 1 winner.
Good for Sean. He's been battling a lot here on Wednesday nights, and he's had some tough luck, especially Mondays. A couple weeks ago, he was in line for his first Monday victory, and here, so I know this is probably a little bit of a good boost to positive energy for Sean.
So on to pit road they come. Don McCara up 17 positions from where he qualified to win this stage. So an outstanding drive in the opening laps. Hits pit road, and we're going to see how everyone takes strategy. Tires, 4 tires, fuel only. What's going to happen here? The first car off of pit road, that is the 7 of Josh Milam. A 2-tire stop for him. Zach Fritsch, Jeff Crosby, they are down and away. Sean McCara, looks like McCara is spending quite a bit of time on pit road. Maybe had some damage he wanted to hammer out, but he is now making his way off of pit road. So, Zach, you wanna talk to Sean?
If I have to, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna make you, because I feel like being lazy. So it's all you, Zach.
Sean McCara, this is Zach Workman in the booth. Do you got your ears on, bud?
Of course I do.
So why didn't you give that stage to the 12 car? Well, didn't let him by. What the hell was that?
Quite frankly, I don't like him all that much. I thought he'd be a good teammate and just ride behind, but no, I didn't feel like it.
Oh, so you blame him for trying to go around. Okay, I can see that. But how'd you guys get up there? I know you are working with Team 2, the Crosbys, Josh, and Zach and Peter. So,
quite frankly, we just nailed the pit stop, and I looked at the relative, and we were like 4 seconds ahead, so we just went single file for a while. And I know there's some sort of incident that took away a little bit of the competition there too, but yeah, it's just kind of cruise control as long as we work together for a while. And they tried to battle it out a little bit for the last few laps once it was secure that we were the front.
So how do you get back to the front here? I see you lost a couple positions on pit road. I'm assuming you took 4 tires. How do you get back to the front here, Sean?
Try to nail the next pit stop too. Same when we got there before. Have actually better track position than I did before the last pit stop, but it worked out well. So I guess just have another good pit stop when those come around a little bit.
Do you got any thanks you, shout outs you got to give?
Well, thanks to the other guys who nailed their pit stops and worked with us there. Fritsch, as much as I like to bag on him, Josh Milam, Peter, thanks to Anthony as well, just for lining up single file. Letting us run away with that.
You don't got to give another special shout out to somebody else?
We'll give a shout out to Ashley.
Shout out to Ashley.
We're sticking with it.
All right, well, there you have it. Sean McCara, driver of the 71, your stage winner. Getting it done here tonight. And, yeah, well, Ashley's going to be happy.
I think, well, first of all, Ashley is not her name. So he was talking about his cousin there, which I think is a little weird. Give a nice little shout out, but I guess you can shout out your cousin.
Why not?
If you're into that.
Sure.
As we rocket off into past the start-finish line, Josh Milam, Zach Fritsch, Nate Warren, Jeff Crosby, Harold Rothery, David Booth, David Livingston, as that outside getting a nice start. Nate to the back of the 7 here.
So Milam in the 7 on the outside. Nate Warren pushing on that back bumper. The 12 is Zach Fritsch. Leads the inside lane with the 33 on his back bumper. And then the 77 of David Booth up in the mix in that third car on the inside lane. Do want to do a bit of housekeeping after a round of green flag pit stops and a stage in. We have 24 cars on the lead lap. Dan Harrington in 25th place is the first car one lap down. Mark Mann, Stanley Jr. find themselves not on the lead lap. Dude Conrad has been on pit road for the last...
Some contact in front. Crosby and 7 made a little bit of contact.
Big time damage for several of our front runners. They all hit the wall hard, stay straight, and behind them, one car up in smoke. That is the 41 of Stanley Jr. Michael Pratt getting a piece of that as well. So big crash here in the opening laps of our second stage. Let's back it up, take a look and see what happened. And man, I'm not 100% sure what I'm seeing there. It looked like they were just kind of fighting over the same spot of racetrack.
Yeah, 12's trying to get to that outside lane, so he jumps up, he's clear, and it looks like just Jeff followed him a little bit high, and he was not clear and got into Josh, and Nate had nowhere to go, and a lot of people towards the back here just kind of piled in. It looks like they're just trying, he was just drifted up a little bit into Josh there, and just unfortunate for those guys.
We'll take another look from high atop the blimp. Yeah, the 33 looked like he was just following the 12. Makes contact and causes a big stack up.
Yeah, he just drifted up his lane a little bit. This sucks because I know he's just trying to get that 12 car clear and trying to push as hard as he can, and just kind of drifted up a little bit. Sucks for all the guys involved, and yeah.
All right, drivers all on the pit road. Nobody's staying out. Everyone has come down pit lane. Dan Harrington receives the free pass. So he is back on the lead lap in that Demon Tech 82. You can check out his stream on Facebook, Twitch, wherever, under Demon Tech 82. You know, I've never asked him where he got that name from. I'm assuming the 82 is the birth year, but I can assume a lot of things.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the it's like the Monty part is for like a Monte Carlo, but I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna have to ask him.
Yeah, I can't remember nothing either. So,
should we pull him in the booth and ask him?
Yeah, do it. Why not?
You're in the booth. We have a question for you.
Shoot.
Where does your Twitch name come from? How'd you come up with it?
Oh yeah, so the original form of this handle was Demon Tech 3. So DE for Dale Earnhardt, Monty, and then C for Carlo.
Oh, okay. I knew the Monty part a little bit. I just didn't know the rest, so.
And then like I used to use like, I don't know, the car number I used to have was like 8 or something like that. And then Junior started racing, took the number 8, so everyone wanted to use number 8, and it just kind of evolved from there until I was like, the heck it, the birth year, 82, that's me.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And with question answered. Thank you, Dan. Were you with Booth and David Overstreet down there in Team 3? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move you back. Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
There you have it.
See, look at that. Now we know.
Now we know. Ask and you shall receive. The things we learn.
Or just forcibly force his way into here and, you know, collect ransom and then get our question answered.
We do what we got to do.
Yeah, of course. Nothing illegal. Yeah.
That we'll admit to.
Precisely.
All right, so the lights are out on the pace car. They are stacked up 2 by 2 side by side as they make their way down the backstretch. This Legacy Daytona track having its first caution for an incident here tonight. This caution wrapping up Zach Fritsch, Richard Kuhn on the front row for this restart. Then it's Harold Rothery and Anthony English, row number 2. David Booth and Daniel Holloway for row number 3. And so, Mr. Workman, it is getting it's getting to the point where I think we're just one stop away from finishing this race out.
Yep, we are one stop away. So look for guys to probably pit around that 52 to 53 mark to make it to the rest of the way, as we got kind of a stack up on this restart.
And around goes the 77, the 46 up into the air. And a bit of a rough start for sure on this one. David Booth looked like he took the brunt of all of the contact as he was sideways in front of the field. On a restart, that's never what you want to see, because everyone's trying to accelerate and no one's looking anywhere else but at their gear shift pattern.
If I'm not mistaken, KR, it looks like Richard Kuhn missed a shift on that restart there.
Gonna watch the 47 here, and yeah, that 47 just stalls out. Good possibility of a missed shift. Several cars paying the price for that. The caution flag out once again. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
racing. You wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network as we are here for the Damn Motorsports 175, or I should say the digital Armchair Motorsports 175. Zach, you've been up in the booth, you've been on the track. We're down to 23 laps to go in this one. Dan Harrington goes from a lap down to the race lead by virtue of staying out.
Yeah, it's a calculated gamble on his part. We just went down to pit road and had that really early caution, so he probably did not burn that much fuel. I'm surprised more guys didn't even try it, as we got a pit here in 5 or 6 laps. So he's really flipping his track position here and putting himself in a position to take one here.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're going to have to make one more pit stop no matter what. So Dan Harrington coming away a big winner in this one as he takes over the top spot. And not only that, but he is got the 12 of Zach Fritsch, who has been one of the stronger cars here tonight, on his back bumper.
Yeah, I'm surprised more people in the back did not take that gamble. Harrington was a lap down and running back in the late 20s. So he really flips his track position here. I don't think he loses that much fuel, and he should be right in this top 10 when it all shakes out if he gets a good stop here.
All right, so side by side they go through the tri-oval. Dan Harrington falling back quickly that time by. Harold Rothery, though, takes over the top spot. It is now the lead car on the inside line, but here comes the 40 of Peter DeBorgia. He got spun at the stage, but now he has battled back, and here he is as the race leader.
Yeah, the little bit of checkup from that inside line, getting off of 2, it's really slick there and kind of slide the tires a bit. So the Harold and Josh slipped a little bit on that inside, and you can just see the power of that outside getting a double clear. It's pretty hard, especially with these B cars, but here it's a little bit easier, especially with turn 2 kind of sliding a little bit, and you'll see guys slide in turn 4 when the tires get really hot. So that's why you want to be on this outside. It's just kind of like a power move, to be honest. You can really get a good run here, and if you're not totally connected, but as we see the 40 and 33 teammates tonight working together, trying to battle that 88 and 71. So if you can really stay together, you can kind of keep even, but it's going to get hard, especially with the tires burning up a little bit. You'll see the 40 start to slide up a little bit as we see Gabe Butler clear right there, and now Senior's up to work on that outside. He's going to have to help Sean try to get down to that bottom, as we're going to see some pit here soon in a couple laps.
Yeah, that fuel window going to open up here very soon. Gabe Butler in the 88 is our race leader. The 40 of Peter DeBorgia, the 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr., and then Harold Rothery with Josh Milam rounding out the top 5, but that is going to change very quickly as Sean McCara had a good run going down the backstretch. Then it looks like it's going to fizzle out in the corner.
And someone we have talked about 0 tonight, Gabe Butler, leading this field on lap 53. Always seems to make his way up here, especially at the end. So if he can get a good stop, he's going to put himself right in position to get a checkered flag.
4 cars on the pit road. Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, David Livingston, and Jimmy Reynolds all hit pit road that time.
I'd not be surprised if these leaders go this time, especially now they're right in the window, 17 to go. I would not be surprised if you see a group of people coming down here.
So a lot of drivers working their way down to the inside line. And here they come on the pit road. They do have a slow car in front of them, but that car is going to hit pit lane and be at speed that I believe is Michael Pratt. He is pretty tore up, but not giving up just yet. The Rothery in the 214 takes over the race lead, but will have to hit pit road. Dan Harrington right there as well. And a few peel off this time. There's 3 cars. Sean McCarron, Jeff Crosby Sr., and Eric Laurie peel off for pit road. So Rothery and Harrington stay out. Top 5 cars have not hit pit road. Everyone else has made their pit stop.
And it looks like that second group that came in on 53, the Gabe Butler, Peter DeBorgia, Jeff Crosby, Josh Milam group, looks like they got ahead of that first group. So really good stop by those guys and kind of controlling the field now.
Michael Pratt pulling back on the pit road. Pratt running in 27th spot. With everything going on right now in the middle of this green flag pit stop, 21 cars are on the lead lap. Rothery is our race leader. Jimmy Reynolds in 21st spot. Last car on the lead lap. The 46 of David Overstreet is the first car 1 lap down, and he is in the mix right here. He is not pitted for that final time, and we got 15 laps to go, so we are getting close to the end of everyone trying to stretch their fuel. Like, there's no reason to stretch your fuel. We're getting to the end of them not coming down pit road.
Yeah, they're just going off strategy. They're trying to see if maybe they can catch a caution, get enough fuel and see if that they can kind of flip the strategy. They're running long as they can, maybe hoping for a caution here between the front pack, but the front pack is really 6 cars, so we'll see if anything happens, but it's really just 6 cars right now. It's as we got a pretty big gap between the packs. Cody, Vicente, and David Livingston are trying to run down those front 6. And we'll see kind of if they can, especially with the running double file here. It's going to get go time here. It's pretty much you pitted your last time to kind of tighten up on that steering wheel and kind of try to push harder than you have all day. So a lot more mistakes happen in the last 10 laps of these races with these guys.
All right, with 13 laps to go, this group here still has to make a pit stop. They are turning lap times at 49 seconds. Josh Milam, who leads the drivers who have made a pit stop, turning lap times at 47.99. So 49.03 Harold Rothery last time around. Josh Milam 47.99. So about a second a lap difference that Josh Milam is closing in on Harold Rothery. So why would Rothery, Harrington, and these guys continue to stay out?
Well, because they see the second pack go 3 wide here. You see the 6 of Cody Nagels and Vicente slicing up through the middle here. They're just hoping for a yellow. That's what they're hoping for. They hope this front pack gets involved in the wreck and they all have to pit anyhow, so then they can do their pit. But yeah, right now it's kind of like 10 or 11 cars, so they're just hoping for a yellow, trying to flip the strategy, seeing if they can get lucky, and sometimes, you know, people do. So we'll see how it shakes out for those guys, as these guys are really pushing hard now, pushing the issue and giving all they can to try to steal this victory.
All right, so we are watching Gabe Butler and Josh Milam. This essentially is the race for the lead and possibly the win. Rothery and Harrington, Kilday, Booth, and Kuhn all have to hit pit road. And those are your top 5. They are ahead of this group by 28.4 seconds. Do want to point out Cody Nagels, a couple laps ago, did set a new fast lap. And so he has the honors of having the fastest lap of the race for right now. But this group battling very hard, and it won't be too long before we see them 2 wide. Or I'm sorry, 3 wide. They're already 2 wide.
Yeah, I really look for that 6 and 14 to see if they make a move. Teammates in other series and stuff like that. So I would not be surprised if they make a move here. The 12 and the 7, just kind of making sure that 88 doesn't jump in front of them. If they do, then I wouldn't be surprised if later in the race they do take them 3 wide. But right now, 10 laps to go. You're trying to make a plan. Everyone's got a plan until, you know, wrecks start happening. So there's going to be a lot of guys trying to make a plan here and seeing if they can get the best finish possible, or even as we got Andy Brigante is going to let Cody and Vicente pass him here. And it's going to give a big run to that outside.
So Adam Kilday and Richard Kuhn are now the 2 drivers left who have not pitted. David Booth, Rothery, and Harrington hit pit road last time around. Anthony English in the 44 finds himself on the lead lap now, but is the last car on the lead lap. And so Kilday peels off of pit road. That just leaves Richard Kuhn, who has not made his pit stop. We have 8 laps to go. Josh Milam in the 7, the 88 of Gabe Butler. They are running nose to tail, hugging that yellow line. The 12 is Zach Fritsch, who has been up front almost this entire time, finding himself leading the charge in the outside lane.
If I'm Zach here, I think I jump to the bottom, to be honest. The 6 and 14 are teammates. I do not trust them to push this 12 car to the end. I trust them to turn right with 2 laps to go, take up 3 wide, and I think the 12 is a little bit of a sitting duck here if he sits on that outside. I think he should go to the bottom with his teammate Josh and kind of hope he can get a good run there, because I do not trust the 6 and 14 to stay behind him.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
You're just kind of hoping for other drivers and see what they're doing. I mean, you know, they're not super close friends, and you know, they're not teammates, so you don't know really what the guy behind you is going to do. You just kind of got to hope. But him and the 14 are teammates. You got Sean McCara, who does help out Zach and is a teammate. So you kind of hope maybe Sean can get to this back bumper if Cody and Vicente decide to turn right on Zach here. So I don't know. It's just kind of a waiting game. You just hope they don't. And if they do, you just hope Sean can get to your back bumper as soon as possible.
All right, so Richard Kuhn still has not come down pit road. He is still cycling around out there 23 seconds ahead of this pack. We're down to 6 laps to go. Zach Fritsch, Josh Milam leading this group. Kuhn last on pit road on lap 47. And there is no way he can make it on fuel. So he is going to have to hit pit road, but he seems bound and determined to try and stretch it as far as he can.
Yeah, just really hoping for a yellow. It doesn't seem like he's going to get it. I think he's going to have to pit anyhow here soon, even if he did get the yellow. So kind of see how it plays out between this front pack.
So the 47 onto the back stretch with a 22-second lead over Zach Fritsch. We check in on this group, that 12. In the outside lane, Josh Milam in the 7 on the inside.
And Cody got loose there, and
Cody Nagels goes around, and this is going to stack him up. And the yellow flag is going to come out.
And now, is that the yellow Richard Kuhn needed? Can he make it to the end, or does he have to totally pit?
There's no way. I don't see any way he makes it to the end, man.
I don't think so either. It was kind of a hopium pill.
Unless he knows something I don't. That would be like the furthest anyone's ever been able to go on a fuel. But we're gonna check this replay out. You see the 6 get up into the wall. Dan Harrington gets collected. A couple other race cars get involved into this as well.
Yeah, it just looks like Cody side drafted Gabe hard there, and it looks like a tad of netcode. I hate calling it a little bit of netcode, but it looks like it was right there. So Cody tries to save it, and just nowhere for him to go. It's unfortunate for him. I know he's had a rough couple weeks, so it sucks he might not get the finish he deserves.
Nate Warren also involved in that, and Nate Warren had a good run going as well.
Hopefully it's not too bad for Nate. Hopefully he can get it fixed up and keep on rolling, because he is fighting Dan for that last playoff spot, Dan Harrington. So it's going to be interesting to see who can kind of keep up with the pack the best between those two cars. And especially if you don't have a new winner. I think all these guys up front are in the top 16 so far. So doesn't look like it's going to be a new winner as of now on lap 68, but we'll see.
All right, so Richard Kuhn pulled on the pit road, giving the race lead to the 7 of Josh Milam.
Yeah, it's going to be teammates battling here. Josh is going to have Peter opening him on the outside, and it's actually going to have a really good pusher in Gabe. 40's great pusher as well. So it's just kind of mano-y-mano. We'll see if that third line ever gets started. I'm sure someone will try it, but we'll see if they can get up there towards the front. But it looks like it's going to be between the 7, the 12, the 88, and 40 still got a shot, but it's going to be hard. They're going to, especially with, looks like a green-white checkered, so not a lot of laps to play with, but we'll see. It's going to look like between teammates as of now.
A lot of drivers dropping down on the apron, trying to conserve fuel. They were last on pit road on lap 53. That was about 14 laps ago. And they do want to save fuel because they still have those green-white checkered attempts.
Yeah, they got to save as much as possible for those guys who pitted on 52 and 53. They maybe put 1 green-white checker definitely in the balance, but 2 they're gonna have to really save if they want to get it. So be interesting to see how much fuel they have, but yeah, for right now they're saving as much as they can. So if they need that extra bit, if we immediately get a yellow and they got to go all the way around and burn up all that fuel, that they have enough for a second one.
Well, lights are out on the pace car. We're going to get back into it, this time by. And is this our first attempt?
This will be our first attempt, our first official attempt. So we'll only have one more after this one.
And the reason why I asked is because it's like right there on the limit. So I guess it's one lap over right now.
Yep, as we see the 14 who pitted on 52 on the apron, Gabe Butler who pitted on 53. Right now saving as much as they can just in case the disaster happens. So
yeah, yellow flag comes out 5 feet from the white flag.
Yeah, that would be horrendous for them. So they're trying to save as much as they can.
All right, here they come onto the front stretch. Zach Fritsch, Josh Milam leading this field to our first attempt at a green-white checkered. And the green flag is out. Here we go once again, trying to wrap this one up.
7 and 12 both got a pretty even start there. 88 gets to the bumper first. We'll see if maybe the 12 can rock it off in the first turn and get in front of that 7 on the backstretch.
Side by side into turn number 1. Josh Milam in the 7. Been one of the hottest drivers, but so too has the 12 of Zach Fritsch. Here in the last few races, Fritchie has gained 127 points in the last 3 races, and here he is once again in position to win a race and try and get that first win of this season. Here they come to the white flag, Zach.
Side by side, 7 on the outside, 12 on the inside. It's going to be between the teammates as of now. Zach Fritsch, hungry for a win, has had a really tough season in both leagues. Can he get in front of that 7 and kind of block? Right now he is in front. Can he get in front on the backstretch to kind of block his way? He goes in front. The 7's going to give a nice bump to the 12. That's exactly what he needed, as they're going to be rolling on the back. The 12 is leading on the outside with 88 and 14 on the bottom. I don't expect the 7 to do anything. Just push his friend to the victory because he knows how much he wants it.
Man, I'll tell you, that 12 made a good move to the high side, but that left the bottom open for the 88 of Gabe Butler, and you never want to give that opportunity to Butler. But here they come to the line, and the 12 of Zach Fritsch picks up his first win of the season as they start crashing into each other after the checkered flag.
He made the perfect move at the perfect time. The 88 gave him a hell of a bump, as he always does, and Zach got in front of the 7. So that should be a big confidence boost to that Fritchie. He has been wanting a race win for a while. He's been hungry, and good to see him finally get one.
All right, let's go ahead and go through our results real quick as they make their way back around. Zach Fritsch, your race winner. Josh Milam second. Gabe Butler third step of the podium. Then Peter DeBorgia and Vicente Guerrero round out the top 5.
Points leader Jeff Crosby 33 and 6. We got 7th Harold Rothery in the 214. 8th Sean McCarron, the 71 stage winner. Good night for him. 071 Eric Laurie in 9th, and we got David Booth 77 rounding up the top 10.
Dan Harrington, Rob Connors, Jimmy Reynolds, Daniel Holloway, and Cody Nagels make up your next 5, 11 through 15.
Anthony English 16th, Len McNeese 17th, Richard Kuhn 18th, Jeff Crosby Sr. 19th, and Adam Kilday rounds out your top 20.
21st goes to David Livingston, Nate Warren 22nd, 23rd Andy Brigante, 24th the 04 of Mark Mann, and David Overstreet in 25th.
In your last 6, Stanley Jr. 26th, Michael Pratt 27th, Dude Conrad 28th, Richard Sanchez 29th, Sean Stevens 30th, and Les Levy 31st.
There you have it, the results for race number 12 of 22 the Digital Armchair Motorsports 175 presented by Stanley Jr. is won by the 12 of Zach Fritsch. And so I think this should be the Zach and Zach show. Zach?
Okay, put me on the spot.
I mean, yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
All right, it's all you, man.
Zach Fritsch, tonight's winner. I know you've been hungry for a while here. You've been trying to get these race wins. As I heard before, no mercy to the field. How'd you get it done tonight, Zach?
Well, thank you, teammate. Yeah, we just stayed up to the front the whole race. Did our best, make sure that we were up front. And we did pretty good. We stayed up there up front for the entire race. Pretty rare. Fortunately, Jeff committed crime against our teammates, Workman. I didn't tell him I was going up high, so since the high side's so dominant, and Jeff decided, I'll fall right into you, and nailed our teammate. But
you sure it wasn't Alyssa driving there?
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask him. But no, this is awesome. First victory in the Ford Mustang. How do you feel about that, KR?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know they let the Fords out.
So, yeah, this 12 Fritchie Ford Mustang was on fire tonight. And like I said, we kept it on the front and stayed out of trouble and everything, and it paid off.
Do you have any shout outs to give? Thank yous and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, I got to shout out everybody that was in our Team 2 channel tonight that we're all working together. We were trying to help Senior and Nate trying to get some good points so they could stay up, in the playoffs. And then obviously shout out to my FSR team, since I haven't really got an interview on Monday at all yet this season. Shout out to you two up in the booth. Appreciate you, KR, coming back and doing Wednesdays. OP and all of its admins. Thank you, Digital Armchair Motorsports Stanley Jr. for sponsoring tonight's race. And yeah, that's about it. And all the friends and family.
Well, Zach Fritsch, thank you for giving us your time, and good job on the race win, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, that is the driver of the 12, your race winner, Zach Fritsch, getting it done. Nice job, Zach. Gets that first win of the season. And that monkey off your back always feels really good.
Oh, yeah, especially here when wins mean a lot here, especially locking yourself in. So now you can just drive however you want the last couple races. Just you don't got to worry about points. You can finish 30th and go home happy.
All right, now let's talk to our second place finisher, and that is the 7 of Josh Milam. Josh, you got your ears on, bud?
Loud and clear. What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just wondering how that 7 gets so fast every time we see it.
I think you confuse fast with lucky, man. Good race, all in all. I stayed up front for the majority of it. I got in one wreck, had to use my quick. Maintained position up front and made it to the end.
Well, making it to the end is always important, but having to burn your fast repair in a crash, what happened there that led to that?
I think we were battling up. I was up leading the top lane, I believe, and the guys underneath are just pushing hard. And I believe the leader on the bottom wanted to clear high, and he had it clear, and he started to came up. Pusher just followed him up, kind of run me up, pushed me into the wall. Had some major engine damage, so we had to go into pits, take care of that. But once I did, I started in the rear. I looked up with another caution there, and I decided to stay out in that caution because there wasn't much fuel consumption. And I was like, wow, stay out, get track position, get up to the front again, and pit for that last pit stop, and hopefully come out with the lead group, and that's what happened.
Well, man, nice job. That 7 came away with the second step of the podium here tonight. Burned the fast repair, but can't keep a good race car down, and here you are, man. Nice, solid second place finish. Shout outs, thank yous you'd like to give?
Yep, shout out to Frishy for the win there. Shout out to you guys in the booth. Shout out to to all the people out there watching tonight and all the drivers who showed up. Really appreciate them guys and you guys in the booth.
All right, that is Josh Milam, driver of the number 7, bringing it home in second place here tonight. And Zach, just one more to go, and this one is all yours. That is the third place finisher of Gabe Butler.
Gabe Butler, you got your ears on, bud?
I got him on there, brother. What's up?
Finished third. We saw you drop to the back at the beginning, as you always do. How do you make it up to the front every time?
Just let everybody else kill themselves and go from there.
We saw you qualify, kind of didn't have a lot of teammate help tonight. I know Peter usually runs with you, but he was helping his buddy, Zach, tonight. How'd you kind of stay up there? You kind of pitted with those guys and go from there, or what was kind of the plan?
Yeah, I just tried to make some positions up late in the race, and I saw I think I was leading, and saw Peter dive down and then a whole bunch behind him, so I went for it and threw it in there, and I was able to come out with him, and he got me up there. So I thought we were in the lead the whole time, but there was, I guess, 4 or 5 other cars that hadn't pitted yet, so we just battled away there with Richie and Josh, and ended up getting a P3, so just lucky again.
I guess it's the luck of the Irish with you, but you don't need a lot of luck. You're one of the top drivers here. You gave Fritz really the winning push to get him up there. You got any thank yous and shout outs you got to give?
Just a shout out to my wife, Jeannie, OP, for putting on this league, and of course you guys up there in the broadcast booth. I hope you had a blast up there, Zach. I'm sure it was interesting, so I can't wait to go back and look at it.
Yeah, it was a lot less shorter than Monday, so I'll take that definitely.
Much better race than Monday, which was it seems to be par for the course though. But anyway, good race overall, I have to say.
Yeah, I think KR only drank half his whiskey, so that's an improvement.
Yeah, well, that'll work. He's got a bottle and a half for next week then.
I mean, he's not wrong. Nice job, Gabe. Congratulations on third place.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our top 3 podium finishing drivers. Zach, thank you very much for joining me here tonight, man.
Thanks for letting me infiltrate your booth. It was fun. I'd rather, to be honest, be up here than on that 08 track, because I don't like the bumps. I got little weenie hands, so I can't stand them.
Well, yeah, I do enjoy this track maybe a bit more than you do, but either way, yeah, I enjoy having the time with you here tonight.
Yeah, it's always a good time, KR. You do a good job up here. I'm just glad I can help you a little bit up here, so you're not all alone. So I'm just glad to be here. You have Peter the last 3 races, which is a big yikes. You're gonna need a lot of whiskey for that guy. I don't think you even, well, if he gets his microphone fixed, I don't even think you need to talk the whole race, to be honest. But I'm just kidding. I love Pete. Just got to mess with him a little bit. But thanks for letting me up here. It was fun. It's fun to see this race from a different perspective, and we had a good battle between the guys.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. And we look forward to seeing you all next Monday night as the Premier Series hits the track once again. If you need something to do, don't forget, Saturday night, Max Speed TV, the Truck Series is on track. And that is hosted by Joshua Medlock. So, until then, y'all stay safe and have a good night.